Hey friends, hey let's do this. Let's go for a quick little jaunt. Let's go out in the redwood trees over here. Hey, if you've been following along, we started a Bible reading plan for our church, so make sure that you are on that. And all you Redwood Christian fellowshippers, Genesis 1 was yesterday, and Genesis 3 was today. Just some brief thoughts on that. Genesis 1, that God is creator, that God exists, and that God made the world. Check it out. God made the world. And that God made it good. That we serve a God who is good. His character is kind, creative, and that he made us in his image. Male and female in his image. And I mentioned some questions that we could ask as we read. One of them was things like, what practice could we implement? Well, here's one. In this time, get outside. Enjoy the goodness of God's creation. Take a walk. Think. Run. So that's one. That's one way to implement Genesis 1. Genesis 3. Today's reading reminds us that this world is broken. That because of the sin of humanity, relationships are fractured. This world is fallen. Disease, like what we're facing right now in this present moment in our world. Death. The death is coming for each one of us. We saw two different trees in Genesis 1 and Genesis 3. The tree of the knowledge of good and evil, which God forbid Adam and Eve to eat of. And they did it anyway. They went outside their limits, the boundaries that God had set, the beautiful freedom of the garden. And they said, you know what? I'm going to eat from that tree. The serpent, Satan, tricking them, deceiving them, and them being banished from the garden, from the tree of life, from the tree of eternal life, sent out in judgment. But there's good news in chapter 3. And the good news is that God promised that one of the offspring of Eve was going to crush, defeat, triumph over the serpent. And God has done that. God has done that in the person of Jesus Christ. That God came into this world as a man to suffer. That he, too, went to a tree and he was crucified. Killed in the place of sinners, taking the judgment that we deserved for our sin, and making all who trust in him righteous in right relationship with God, to be able to live fully as a human being, enjoying the goodness and the glory of God in relationship. And the one day, in the new heavens and the new earth, this fallen world will be utterly and perfectly restored. That we will have access to the tree of life. in the presence of God, in the goodness of God's recreated, renewed creation that's going to be even better than it is now, even better than it was in the garden. Fellowship with God, fellowship with one another, with all those who have trusted Jesus. And that's what we have to look forward to, the day that is coming. So I just encourage you, take time to think through these chapters, to thank God. Somebody's running by here. Hey, so get outside, enjoy God's creation, and thank Him for all that He's done. See ya.